What's up, gang? Welcome back to another video. Long awaited microorganisms video is finally here. Just to prepare, I will be doing this video probably in several different parts because this chapter is pretty lengthy. So I think I'm going to break down the chapter. I'm not really sure exactly how the video content will go. I'm just basically going to go through the book. Whatever stands out to me, I will cover. If you guys got any questions as far as microorganisms chapter, make sure to leave that question or comment down below in this video so that way we can be able to discuss it in the next video. So today, just a disclaimer, you guys will be seeing me look down at my notes, look down at the book. I'll be inserting some pictures, some screenshots throughout the microorganisms chapter. If anything crosses my mind after the video is over, I'll definitely add it to the next video. And I will be featuring several Ascp questions on microorganisms. Before we get into the actual content, let's go ahead and see what is your first Ascp question of the day. Organisms, and I think before in my last video I said that we're going to be starting in chapter 10. If you guys have the Mother, which is Frida Carson, your big book here, let's see if yours is also chapter 10. The basic things that I want you guys to study when it comes to study tips for microorganisms will be the beginning of your book, which is define and give the examples of bacteria, cocci, bacilli, spirochetes, microbacteria, fungi, yeast, protozoans, hyphae, and mycelia. If I pronounce something wrong, please forgive me up front because I tend to mispronounce a lot of these words in the histology book. So, if I pronounce something wrong, then you guys know what I'm trying to say. Very important that you guys study the objectives of the book so you can know exactly what you will be reading throughout the chapter. If you follow me and you have looked at my other Ascp study tips, this will be step number 1, which will be to read the objectives. Number 2 is classify the following techniques as a type of organism demonstrated. So in step number 2, they're going to literally go down every stain and what exactly that stain is staining for. And in your book, you'll see exactly what each reagent does and how it actually makes the cell present and what it's staining for, the results, and your technical notes. And number 3, in this chapter for the objectives, it says to outline each of the above techniques, consider the following criteria. Most desirable fixative. If another fixative has been used, what can be done? Special requirements like chemically clean glassware, and what type of microscope is used for that stain. So those are the 3 things in this chapter. And if you look at most of the chapters, it's normally more than 3, but it looks like this is just the 3 things for microorganism. So that way you'll be able to know exactly what you're studying, the definition, what to look for, what control to use. How do you know something is not staining correctly? It just gives you a breakdown of each stain, and you want to break down each stain, what each stain does, the tissue that you're using. And sometimes whenever you're doing different stains, you guys may know if you have worked in the lab, sometimes when you're doing different stains, you have to use glassware and you can't use anything that's plastic. So normally for a silver stain, you have to make sure that you're using maybe a glass pipette against, a glass Copeland jar. So it just depends on the stain, and it depends on what type of glassware that you're going to use. And most of the time, these things that are in front of the book, it's really important that you just know these basic things, because these type of questions or things that you're answering in the book, it will help you to get through the chapter smoothly. Now, before preparing for this video, I have not familiarized myself with some of these terms because I really haven't performed some of these in a very long time. So what I did do is I actually printed the protocol, because sometimes in the book it shows you how to do things manually, but whenever you're in the lab, some things are modified for things to be a lot faster than what Frida Carson has taught us here. So the goal is, whenever you are starting to study, is don't be so hard on yourself trying to remember every single thing verbatim. But in these new histology study tips, I will be showing you guys once again how to organize yourself and how to remember certain things. And you can add those to your index cards. You can add those to, whatever study guides that you're using. You can add that to your study book. But it's just I'll give you guys a more simpler way to break things down, so that way you can be able to give yourself some type of clues and hints, because there's so many different things for so many different chapters. So it's very easy to get a lot of things mixed up. So now, that was a disclaimer. That's just an overall objective of what I'm going to be doing for each chapter. So maybe I should have said like that first. This is literally just how I'm going to break down each chapter for you guys, how I'm going to give my opinion on how I studied, and some key things that I did right now to try to remember certain things within these chapters, because there was so much to study in such a short span of time. Try to get at least a quarter or halfway through your book. That way you feel a little bit more comfortable when it's down to crunch time for taking the Ascp. But we'll get more into that. You guys are here for microorganisms. You guys have been waiting for a few days now. So let's go ahead and get into the video.